Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss on tasks, process and threads. Before getting into a detailing on task, the general term task refers to something that needs to be done, correct? So in operating system context, task is defined as the program in execution, and this execution is supported by operating system by providing the information which is required for the execution. And the same task in the operating system context can be called as job. A program or a part of its execution is also called as a process. Basically, task, process and job refers the same entity, and in the operating system context more often it can be interchanged. A process is a program or part of a program which is in execution. A process is also known as an instance of program in execution. So the process requires various system resources like CPU for execution, and memory for storing the code corresponding to the process, and associated variables and input output devices for information exchange. When we take a structure of the process, the concept of a process itself helps us to achieve a concurrent execution of the task so that efficient utilization of the CPU and other system resources can be achieved easily. Process mimics a processor in properties, and it holds a set of registers. It can be a working registers which holds the temporary values, and stack memory to hold the local variable associated with the process, status register which holds the current status of the executing process, program counter to points to the next instruction to be executed as a process. So this is what the entire structure of the process. And in come to a memory organization of the process, so you can find the code memory, data memory and the stack memory, and the growth of the memory and the data in it is same as the conventional memory discussion. Process, as I said, just mimics the processor. Process also inherits all the properties of the CPU. When the process gets in turn, the registers and program counter register become mapped to a physical registers of the CPU, and memory occupied by the process is segregated as stack, data and code memory. Stack memory holds the temporary data, and the data memory holds global data for the process, and code memory contains the program code of the process. And when loading the codes of the process into a memory, a specific area of the memory is allocated for the process, the same area of the memory being occupied by the codes of the respective process. And in that particular area of the memory, stack memory usually starts at the highest memory address from the memory area allocated for the process. Process states and state transitions. The creation of the process to its termination, it is not a single step. It come across through various steps or levels from creation to a termination. So cycle through which the process changes its state from newly created state to execution completed state is known as process life cycle, and various states during this process life cycle indicates the current status of the process. The transition of the process from one state to another state, we call that as a state transition, and this is the figure which refers to a process state and state transition representation. In this, the process states and state transition representation diagram, we can observe right there created state, ready state, running state, blocked state and completed state. In the created stage, the process is just created and operating system identified that creation of the task or a process, but no resource allocated at that particular state. In this ready state, these created process code is inserted into a memory, but the CPU time is not provided. That mean to say that the loaded code onto a memory is just in the memory itself, but not gets the CPU time yet. In the running state, the loaded code starts executing, and we call that as a running state. By making use of the resources allotted by the operating system, it just execute the task. During the execution, if the running or executing task or a process needs or wait for the response from some other task, or it needs a system resource shared by some other process, then the entire execution will suspend for a while. That state we call it as blocked state. Unless we gets that semaphore or mutex, we can't get into a running state. Once process acquire the system resource which it was waiting for, then immediately the process gets into a ready state, and once it gets the CPU time, it will start execute. Once the execution is over, the final state we must have to mention is that is completion state. Once the process is completed, that is the end of the execution for the process. Let's get into a thread. Thread is a primitive, okay, that is having a executable code, and we also call a thread is a single sequential flow of control within a process. Thread is also known as a lightweighted code. The process can have multiple threads of execution. Different threads which are part of the process shares the same address space, meaning that it shares the data memory, code memory, and heap memory, but it maintains separate own thread status, program counter, and stack memory. So keeping that in mind, at the bottom block diagram you can see, for a process having a multiple threads in it, can have a same data memory, code memory, but the stack memory for the thread 1 to thread 2 are different. Concept of multi-threading. The process is split into multiple threads. As I already said, each process can be divided into a threads, that is nothing but single sequential code corresponding to a one particular operation. Okay, basically three threads which executes portion of the process, right? So there will be a main thread, and rest of the thread will be created within the main thread. Take an example here. You can see in the diagram, there is a task or a process where it is sharing code memory, data memory across all thread 1, thread 2, and thread 3. Stack and registers are different for each thread, and we are calling a main thread right now as a thread 1. Within a thread 1, we are calling thread 2 and thread 3 separately. That is the point to observe right there. So advantage of multi-threading concepts, better memory utilization. Of course, since multi-threads uses the same address space and the data memory, it is easy and reduces the complexity of thread communication. That is the point number one. And the second point is when one thread gets into a wait state, waiting for the some other resource allocation or some other process response, then that point of time, some other thread of the same process can be engaged with the CPU, so that effective utilization of the CPU can be successfully achieved. Coming to a thread standards, basically it deals with the different standards available for thread creation and management. The set of thread class libraries can be mentioned like POSIX threads. This POSIX for portable operating system interfaces, where POSIX X4 standard deals with the real-time extensions, and POSIX 4A standard deals with thread extension. Here in the POSIX standard library for thread creation and management is a pthread. where the pthread library defines POSIX thread creation and management in a C language. So you can find one example given in the textbook. That example for a self study, please go through that particular example. You will get to know about this particular POSIX threads in detail in that example. Next one is Win32 threads. Win32 threads are the threads supported by Windows operating system. Win32 application programming interface libraries basically provides standard set of Win32 threads which are responsible for creation and managing the functions. Okay, all Win32 threads are created with the API, and we create and manage those threads using that particular API. Coming to our next thread, that is Java thread. Java threads are the threads supported by Java programming language. Java thread class thread is defined in the package. This package needs to be imported for using the thread creation function supported by Java thread classes, and there are two ways of creating the threads in Java, either by extending the base thread class or by implementing the interface. This is almost same as your understanding with the Java language in the Java programming. Thread preemption is the act of preempting the currently running thread, is nothing but stopping the execution of the thread. It is performed for sharing the CPU time for the thread. You know that we are dealing with the multiple threads of the same process. So what we do is our operating system, what it does is sharing of the CPU time across all the threads one after the other. So during that point of time, the currently executing thread should be stopped for a while to give a CPU time to a next immediate thread. So then that point of time, the execution switching among the thread are known as thread context sharing. So switching the thread execution from one thread to another thread which belong to a same process. User level thread is here in this particular threads, it do not have a kernel or operating system support, and they exist only in the running process, and the process may have multiple threads in it, but operating system will treat that as a single thread and will not switch the execution among the different threads of it. So it is the responsibility of the process to schedule the each thread as and when it required. The next one is the kernel level thread. Now, kernel level threads are individual units of execution which the operating system treats as a separate thread. Here, the execution or switching of the execution from one kernel thread to another kernel thread is happens only based on the scheduling policies implemented by the operating system. Here, purely each kernel thread being treated as a separate individual kernel threads. There are many ways to binding the user level thread to a kernel system level thread. So the first model is many to one model. Many user level threads are mapped to a single kernel thread. The next model is one to one model, where each user level thread is bonded to a kernel level thread. Many to many model. In this model, the many user level threads are allowed to be mapped to many kernel threads. Here we have listed the difference between thread and the process. Just go through these points. This is just an extension of whatever the things we have discussed under threads and process. Thank you.